I want to talk about this concept of abundance. I wrote a book 13 years ago now called Abundance, the Future is Better Than You Think. And the argument for increasing global abundance.
I know the book. It's a good book.
The follow-on Age of Abundance is going to come out in 26, but the detail looking at access to food, water, energy, healthcare, education, almost every particular factor, and the demonetization and democratization has been just off the charts and accelerating. We're on the verge of fusion potentially. The Chinese just held a fusion reaction for 18 minutes. You've got Helion and many others looking at fusion by turn of the decade here. Solar exploding onto the scene. And energy, of course, drives everything else. So I guess the question is, when you think about abundance as a concept for America and Americans and for the world, how do you, I'd like to know how you think about that. Is it a world of increasing abundance? Are there factors that are going to basically shut that down?
The factors that could shut it down are the factors that shut it down before, and they are in the conflict. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at how it was shut down before, the Industrial Revolution or the Great Revolution of the 1920s, when there were more patents than any time, and all of those times, it was a combination of an economic and a war. But
you showed that technology is a continuous force and building on itself despite the up and down cycles.
Yes, but the chart that we see looks like that, and that life expectancy. If you look at life expectancy, it looks like that. If you look at per GDP, it looks like that. Okay, what we see is that upward arcing. Yeah. That upward arcing. What you don't see, ironically, when you look at all of these things and you see the wiggles, okay, that's World War II. And so you hardly pay any attention to it, but it mattered, okay? These wars last maybe 3 years, typically they have, and so on. And so you don't stop that unless you destroy mankind.
Yes.
But you won't stop that. So when I say stop it, I'm assuming like what happened in the 30s.
A temporary slowdown. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, because you don't forget, you still have it. You don't go backwards. And then you build on that. But that upward movement is slow. Like if you had a bust now, okay, you could imagine how that would change allocations of money, how that would change innovations and so on, to some extent. I mean, I think that we're in a position that might be somewhat analogous to 1998 or 1999, where, I'm digressing, but just to
.com bust, right?
Point. Well, yeah, what happens is assets become more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And then there's a universal view that is a great miraculous company and that's a great miraculous thing. And they're right. It's great miraculous company and a great miraculous thing. But the question is, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
And is it expensive? And so what happens is actually, if as an investor, you'd be much better off to buy bad companies at good prices than good companies at bad prices.
When my mom starts telling me, should I buy this stock, or my Uber driver starts telling me about that, you're in trouble.
And so if you look at pricing and who is the owners and so on, I'm not saying we're there. It looks more like maybe 98, but you also have a situation, if you have that, together with if you have an interest rate change, and we'll get into the interest rate discussion in a minute, I suppose, you then have expensive and you have interest rates, and then you can have what we had in 2000, and pets.com, and there's a sword, and things change. And also we get so used to that the disruptors don't get disrupted. Like, that's funny, isn't it? I mean, everybody, they all get
of course.
disrupted.
It was interesting when Jeff Bezos at one of his earnings calls said, yeah, Amazon might not exist in 30 years. It shocked people for him to say that.
But wake up, like the Dow 30, go back 30 years, go back 20 years, they didn't exist. They don't exist any longer, and the ones that are on top do exist. And that's the nature of this evolutionary process, destruction, creative destruction.